there friends, Kevin here once again from the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to Today YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing an album that was supposed to come out in the summer of 2019 but was delayed a significant portion and was finally released on March 27th, 2020. This is the 7th studio album from a band that you might like and is fronted by one of the most badass women in rock and metal. This is our review of Mama! Ooh. No. This is our review of Mother by In This Moment. Alright, so before we jump into the review, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background, and we're going to start with their 2017 release, Ritual. And that came out on July 21st, 2017, and the band was touring with fellow gothic rock, gothic metal band Motionless in White, who was also releasing Graveyard Shift around the same time, so it mixed in really well. Ritual was based off of a concept that Maria Brink created after visiting Salem, Massachusetts, which was the home of the Salem witch trials back in the 1600s, and the whole album is a concept album about someone going through one of those witch trials. Taking a look at the reception of the album, it was varied, with Loudwire saying this was the most mature album from In This Moment to date, but it was still, musically adventurous. AllMusic praised the power of Maria Brink's vocals as one of the most compelling in the genre, and Kerrang saw the changes that they were making as a positive. However, Wall of Sound gave this a 3 out of 10, so there were some positives, a couple of negatives, but that's pretty much it for that. Since then, for me personally, I've seen the band twice. I saw them headlining back in May of 2019 when they're on tour with Seven Dust, and I saw them open for Disturbed in October of 2019. And while I did enjoy their set, one thing I was not necessarily particular about, which I have spoken about before within this moment set, is the consistent breaks in between songs. For the stage to be reset with some portion, for Maria Brink to go through some type of costume change. I'm not really into all those breaks in the set, but if you're big on the theatrics of a performance, In This Moment is a good band to go and see. Alright, time to jump into Mother, and Chris Howarth, the guitarist, said back in 2018 on an Instagram post that the band was working on this 7th studio album, and it was supposed to come out in the summer of 2019. That's when it was said to have come out. However, that never happened. On September 15th, 2019, the band put out a teaser for the In Between single, which was the lead single off the album, and said it was going to come out on Halloween. Of course, that didn't happen, and the single wasn't released until January 20th of 2020. And it did get a lot of positive reception from what we saw on Instagram. And the album finally released on March 27th, 2020. The band was supposed to be on the In Between tour with Black Veil Brides at this time. However, that tour has been postponed due to the coronavirus and everything going around with that. Taking a look at the meaning of the album is about a concept of Mother as an extension of what Ritual was, because of how the fans look at Maria and call her Mother Maria and really derive a lot of power from that. And this also in the sense of, Mother Nature, Mother Earth, and the creations of life. So it has a couple of different things going on there. And this was all confirmed by Chris Howarth on 99.7 The Blitz out of Columbus, Ohio, in an interview. So enough with that. Shall we get on to the actual review?
Get it on!
So now take a look at the composition, construction, and instrumentation on Mother. And there are two types of songs as I see it. The first being one where the instrumentation is more minimalistic, simplistic, and just really drawn back to really let Maria Brink's vocals really shine and really drive the whole entire song. And there are plenty of times on this album where this does happen, this construction is implemented. And this is again done in order to highlight the power of Maria Brink's vocals and really let her drive the whole entire song and be the focal point throughout the whole entire thing. Take a look at songs like the In Between, the titular song Mother, and God Is She. This really does propel these songs like that. And overall, I didn't really care for it that much, and let me explain why. This is because when I hear that the songs don't have the dynamic or the diversity or really the density, therefore, that a lot of the other songs they have had in the past with a little bit more of a stronger instrumentation. And that's because when I look at these songs with Maria Brink's vocals, yes, they drive, and yes, we'll get into them later, but a lot of it is just based on that, and there's really not much more to dive into than what is on the surface and what you hear in her vocals. There's not necessarily much to explore, and we saw this happen a lot in Ritual, and this is something I wasn't big on in Ritual after I listened to it when I first discovered the band and really got it, started listening to them. And as they went on with this was something I really didn't care for going forward, and really doesn't sit well with me as a more casual in this moment listener. Now, the other type of song that's on this album from an instrumentation standpoint is one where the instrumentation is heavier and a lot more prevalent. Though it never really overpowers Maria Brink's vocals, it ends up being a type of instrumentation that's able to stand on its own and also help fully complement Maria Brink's vocals as well. And I really do like when they go with this because it gives a song much more density and much more of a dynamic to it, to where you can listen to it a couple more times and really notice a couple other things about it. You can dive deeper into it because it has so much more to offer. Songs like Hunting Grounds and Lay Me Down really put this out there, and these are songs that really resonate better with me because I'm easier to dive into them. I can really get behind them as well and really listen to them a couple of times and notice a couple of different things in there. So overall, there are some songs I like and some songs I really dislike with the instrumentation and how they're constructed, but when that instrumentation is stronger, I like them more. So now we are moving on to the vocal performance on the track, and we have to talk about Maria Brink's vocals because they are the focal point of Mother. And for the most part on this album, I think they are really good because she keeps that consistent style that she has with her gothic metal vocals that can go with a really wide range and a very unique style. And after this album, they keep her at that top echelon of vocalists in rock and metal because she has songs where she really goes full on range mode with this, where she goes with that softer, more whisper sound to a real powerful singing voice that she has. Then with a couple of screams in there as well to really show the ability that she has as a vocalist. Take a listen to songs like the In Between Hunting Grounds and Lay Me Down, and you're really going to get a good feel for that. Now, there are some songs on this album where when it comes to instrumentation, it's laid back, so she is easily the focal point. But when you listen to those songs and you listen to her singing style, which is very clean and crisp, there are times where she enunciates her words perfectly, and you really are able to really get into the song and really understand the lyrics and really understand the emotion, the passion behind it on songs like Mother and Legacy. However, there are times that follow that instrumentation as well, where she goes with that clean vocal style, but her words and her lyrics when she's singing them are a little bit muzzled, a little bit tough to hear, and it kind of takes me out of it. So a little bit of a misstep on there. Take a look at songs like God Is She and Born in Flames. So overall, Maria Brink's vocals were done really well in this album. A couple of slip-ups, and we're going to go into the features that are on this album next. But before we do, I want to talk about Born in Flames. Missed opportunity for in this moment on this one. They should have brought in Jacoby Shaddix for a feature. Now we have to talk about the featured vocalists that are on this album, and I'm gonna have to start out with Joe Catella of Dead on the song Hunting Grounds. And I gotta say, because of the instrumentation on this song where it's harder, it's driving more with a more gothic rock sound, gothic metal sound, and it's much more prevalent, then you get the vocals between Maria Brink and Joe Catella, and I gotta say, this is the best song on the track. This is probably becoming my favorite In This Moment song. And the reason is because of how well the vocals mix together throughout the whole entire song. Not just a small feature throughout the whole entire song. In the verses, you get a line-by-line differentiation from Maria to Joe, from Maria to Joe, and from Maria, you get that classic, more whispery sound from her in the verses, but then you get Joe's hard rock vocal sound in the verses as well, and the contrast really works out well. In the chorus, for the first part of the chorus, they are singing together, and you can hear the great harmonization between a little bit of a gruffier male vocal style and the uniqueness behind Maria Brink's vocals. In the second part of the chorus, when you hear Joe go with more of that unclean vocal style and Maria really force it out there, it really works out well in contrast with each other. It is one of the best features I have heard up to this point this year. Now, the other one that had features on it was their cover of We Will Rock You, which featured Taylor Morrison of The Pretty Reckless and Lizzie Hale of Hailstorm. And when it came to We Will Rock You, this is not something I think In This Moment should have covered. The reason being is because with In This Moment's gothic style and with Maria Brink's gothic and unique vocal style, it did not match up well in contrast with the rock style of Queen and the vibrato and that voice and vocals of uniqueness that Freddie Mercury was able to bring to the table. When I listened to it, I thought it was a huge misstep. But the big thing I took off of this song was the Lizzie Hale feature on there. I would love to see Lizzie Hale and Hailstorm cover We Will Rock You in their rock style because I think it would work out fantastically. So let's go to the themes of the album and see how they play off with the styles of songs that In This Moment goes with. And like I said earlier, the theme is an extension of Ritual with more of a Mother Earth kind of concept, but the concept is mother. A lot of fans, In This Moment fans, call Maria Mother Maria, so they look up to her as that motherly figure, as that inspiration. So they're really going to be playing off of that on this album, which was confirmed by Chris Howarth on an interview with 99.7 The Blitz out of Columbus, Ohio. So what I think is best about this album is Maria uses this album to really address the Mother Maria thing and really connect with the fans that really feel it, and I think this is a great way to go about it. And how she does this is she creates songs that really show people about what she had gone through in life to get to where she is today, really talking about some of the hardships in life as well, and where it took her to get into the music industry and how far she's come since then. And what a lot of people are able to derive off of that is to connect their personal experiences to that and really put tangible words to those experiences. And when they see Mother Maria talking about this stuff, yes, they're easily going to connect with it as well. And another thing she does on this album is she creates songs that talk about the connection she has with fans, especially the ones that call her Mother Maria, and the power that she's able to derive off of that, and that she's also able to give to those fans as well to make them feel much better about themselves and to have them feel more confident. And I absolutely like what they do with both of these, especially given the time frame that we're in right now when it was released. It actually worked out pretty well because in a time when we're in an uncertain time with the coronavirus, with quarantine, and people really struggling at certain points in life. Yeah, this is the perfect time to come out with this, and a lot of In This Moment fans are really going to connect with it. But let's take a look at the song styles and see how they play off with each other. So when it comes to matching the song styles with the themes, I got to take a look at this in two different lights. The one I'm looking at it, the styles really didn't work out well with me because, again, with all the vocals being focused on Maria, I was so focused on those, and with everything being drawn back, it was so much more just on the surface in my point of view to where, you know, I couldn't really listen to these over and over and over again. But again, this is coming from me. This is my opinion as a more casual In This Moment listener. Now, taking a look at the fans that call Maria Mother Maria, or I'll call them the children at this point, I think that these song styles, when Maria is really the focal point of the whole entire track, they're going to latch onto these and really derive a lot of power and a lot of self-worth from these songs and really connect with them a lot more. So I think when it comes to the people that are really diehard In This Moment fans, yes, this is going to be something that they're going to really easily connect with through the song styles, but as a casual fan, not so much. Alrighty, it's time to rate Mother by In This Moment on a scale of 0 to 10. And I'm going to give Mother a 4 out of 10. So I'm giving In This Moment's Mother a 4 out of 10, which might be disappointing to some of you, but let me explain why. Taking a look at the aspects that I liked on this album was those songs where the instrumentation was much more heavily featured and worked as a standalone and as a complement to Maria Brink's vocals, because it gave those songs so much more of a dynamic and dense sound to it, where there's so much more to unpack and they play off of them so well together, and those songs are just so rich. Look at As Above, So Below, Hunting Grounds, and Lay Me Down. I really think they do a great job here. When it comes to Maria Brink's vocals, yes, she still is on the top of her game with that unique gothic style that she has, either when she is more heavily featured on those tracks as more of a standalone versus when the instrumentation a little bit heavier, but that's when she enunciates very clearly. The couple of times when she didn't enunciate very clearly on those more standalone vocal style tracks, I kind of got lost in them a little bit where I couldn't really understand what was going on. Makes me not want to go back to them as much. However, overall, when it comes to Maria Brink's vocals, they were pretty impeccable on this album once again. Taking a look at the theme that in this woman went on this album, it was something they were going to have to go with at some point due to the whole entire Mother Maria thing, and it was the perfect time to come out with this, especially given the time and circumstances that we're in right now, which are just by sheer coincidence and happenstance. But a lot of people that really connect with the band and look at Maria as Mother Maria are going to latch onto this style of vocals and this album and just really derive a lot of power from it. So I think it was the right move. And then Hunting Grounds with Joe Catella, oh my God. That might be my favorite In This Moment song due to the fact that the instrumentation is well worth it and really responds well to the rest of the vocals. But the vocal feature, the harmonization between Maria Brink and Joe Catella when they're going line by line or when they're together in the chorus, ooh, is that good. So if I gave it a 4 out of 10, I gotta dislike some things on the album. One thing I dislike, again, was the opposite of what I like with the instrumentation. I disliked it when they went with a much more scaled back, a much more dialed back instrumentation style to really let Maria Brink's vocals shine. And the reason I dislike that is because they did it so much and they gave the songs a little bit of a lesser dense style. And I love it when In This Moment goes with that, more instrumentation mix along with complementing the strength of Maria Brink's vocals. Take a look at songs like Big Bad Wolf and on this album, Hunting Grounds. But again, when you're going with the majority of that, I just thought those songs just didn't have enough density or didn't have enough diversity or, dimensions in them to the point where it's like you listen once, you're going to hear them again, it's going to be the same old thing. Take a look at songs like Legacy, Mother, and God Is She. I really think this works on it. Now I got to scroll down my computer because I got to make sure I get that last song right. Now we're going to go on to the covers, and In This Moment covered 3 different songs in this album, and I really didn't, really shine in or care for a lot of these. Take a look at their cover of Fly Like an Eagle, which I don't think they necessarily did a bad job on this. However, I wish they would have kept this off the album and just kept this a live feature because listening to it live is pretty cool, but on the album, it just didn't sound right. It just doesn't have that impact that it had live. Their cover of We Will Rock You, I think, was a huge misstep on their part because their gothic metal, gothic rock style, and Maria Brink's vocals do not match up well in contrast with Queen style and Freddie Mercury's vocals. It just didn't sit right. It didn't have the impact that of a huge difference like Disturbed did when they covered The Sound of Silence or when Johnny Cash covered Hurt by Nine Inch Nails. It just didn't have that power. However, we heard the Lizzie Hale feature on that, and I thought, man, I want to hear Hailstorm cover that song. Then we're going to go to Into Dust, which is another cover at the end of the album. And I'm not going to lie, this cover actually sounded rather well. However, it's placed at the end of the album when you hear those consistent songs where the instrumentation is really dialed back and Maria Brink is the focal point. This really gets lost in the shuffle, so I'm not necessarily sure how good it was. And again, one thing I didn't like about this album as well, the last thing, it was more the same after the delayed release because this album was delayed about 9 months and I was hoping for a little bit something a little more rich, something with a little bit more, instrumentation to it. The songs they did do it on here, loved it. However, was wishing for a couple more diverse and dense songs than what we got. Now it's time for my final thought on Mother. And on this album, In This One went down a path that I was hoping that they were going to stay a little bit away from. And that path was something where the instrumentation was a lot more minimalistic, simplistic, and dialed back to really let the vibrato and the confidence and the power of Maria Brink's vocals shine brightly. I can see at times, it's okay and it does work. And when they bring in that heavy instrumentation, I absolutely love it like they did on Hunting Grounds where it mixes well. But when you focus so much in on it, those songs begin to run together for me as a casual fan, and I, in the end, just really don't care for it all that much. When it comes to newer In This Moment fans that really jumped in on Ritual and really also consider themselves in that, children category, they look up to Maria as Mother Maria, they're absolutely going to love this album, and that is A-okay because this album is built for them. As a casual In This Moment listener, I just don't like the lack of density and dynamics, especially with the lack of instrumentation. However, I don't think this is a misstep for the band overall, especially with their core group of fans, because those core fans are going to really connect with Mother very well. Myself, no. All right, friends, that's it for me. Thank you for watching our review of Mother by In This Moment. If you like the video, give me a like. If you dislike it, give me the dislike, but put in the comments your review so we can talk about this album and what we thought about it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. Be notified we release videos every single Wednesday and podcast videos every single Tuesday. Get those out of here, and please follow us on social media like Facebook. Anytime anything gets released, you're going to find on Facebook. Twitter, same thing, except it's easier to talk to us. Instagram is our biggest platform because you can talk to us by the time anything gets released. You can also watch our IGTV videos, which are behind the scenes vlogs every single Tuesday to figure out what's going on. And join us for our Instagram live streams every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Time, because it's time for you to come join with us, talk with me for an hour. We just talk about a lot of fun stuff. So join us. Link in the description below. Get those out of here. Time to talk about the Chord Progression Podcast. It is our very own podcast where we are doing some major things on there, talking with a lot of bands that are going to be emerging in the scene. And we've had bands in there such as Kingdom Collapse, GFM Gold Frankincense and Myrrh, Stain the Canvas from Italy, Eline from Italy, Sad Quando, Bone Steel. You're going to get to know these bands and get to know them well through the Chord Progression Podcast. So you're going to want to listen to that podcast. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play, and watch the episodes with the interviews with the bands right here on YouTube as well on the My Song Day Rock 2008 channel. So go subscribe to that. Again, links in the description below. Get that out of here. If you're not enabled to our Amazon Alexa skill, please go and do that, because when it comes to the Song of the Day feature, which we're derived on, you can listen to the whole entire Song of the Day feature on that device. Now, the Song of the Day feature is a way to really get people talking about the music, let you fall in love with the bands you used to love, fall in love with the new bands you're going to love, grow your appreciation and love for rock, metal, and all their subgenres. And every single Saturday, we feature a band for Small Band Saturday, which is an emerging band that is going to be making it big and be one of the biggest bands by the end of the 2020s, so you can get in early on them here. So please enable that, and I want to thank you guys for watching this video. We've got plenty more coming out next week with more album reviews, because we got 2! Yeah! Until then, this is Kevin from the My Song Day Rock 2008 YouTube channel. We're going to end it with the hat flip. Hey! See ya!